Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode and another module. Today, we're going to be talking about TikTok agency ad creatives and ad copy. Okay, specifically the ad creatives and ad copy for the TikTok ads you're running to get new booked calls into your calendar. All right. So today's module itinerary, we're going to be talking about TikTok and Facebook similarities, script writing and the framework, creating a dynamic environments for your ads, equipment that is highly recommended, and then breaking down my best performing ads as well too. Okay. So script writing and framework. Let's talk about studying your competition. Okay. Before you even want to start, building out your ad creatives or building out your copy, it's a really good idea to understand the environment and the ecosystem that you're running ads in. Okay. If you are consuming TikTok content and you're producing it, you already have a good feel for TikTok already, which is really good. And again, I highly recommend it just because TikTok is such a fast-paced platform that you're going to want to stay up to date with like the newest trends and kind of what's going on. But the best way to build out your ads is to study your competition, see what they're doing and what's working for them. What are they currently running and why are they currently running it? Why are they still running the same ad and the same type of ad for the last month or two, right? So you can basically go in there and reverse engineer it, all right? So study your competition. Go to the TikTok ads library and watch the competitors' ads. See how their videos are structured and if you can find similarities between them. Analyze what you like and what you don't like, okay? So again, very similar to how you would go to like the Facebook ads library to do this on Facebook, you're doing this for TikTok as well too. Now, in terms of your ad creatives, okay? Let's talk about the framework. So again, this is going to be very, very similar to how you are creating your creatives on Facebook and Instagram, but you'll find that it's just much more fast-paced, okay? So audience call out and preset qualification. So call your audience and who you're speaking to. Example, attention e-commerce brand owners doing $25K a month, okay? So you're calling out your audience and then you're basically giving them a qualification for them. Then you're going to present the offer and timeline and guarantee. Okay. So make your viewer aware of your irresistible offer, timeline in which will provide the results and your guarantee. So example, we'll double your bottom line revenue in 12 months or else you don't pay. So remember, there are different kinds of offers. You don't need to sound like every other agency owner running ads. Okay. So again, there's tons of different offers that you can make. Okay. The or don't pay or, we'll give you your money back. These just typically tend to work better, but this will all depend on what your offer currently is. Okay. If your offer is really good and it converts really well, there's no need to change it. Okay. Don't change something that's not broken. And then providing confidence through your testimonials. So again, justifying these results. So you must back up your results with actual proof. So example, my agency is able to guarantee these results because we've done it so many times for X clients. Take a look at blank who came to us only doing $15K a month and now they're at X. Okay. So again, you can give more testimonials. Your unique service system. So make your viewer aware of your process that only you can create for them. They must believe that this new system is going to solve their problems. So the example of this, our three-pronged system focuses on UGC content creation and omnipresent ad approach and website conversion rate optimization. These three components in combination together are responsible for blank, right? And then providing more testimonials, remind them what you've done, that you've done this before with other clients like them, touch on the before and after transformation that your clients have made when they begin working with you. And then, of course, call to action. So your goal isn't for them to book in a call quite yet, okay? Your goal is for them to move forward to the next step of the customer journey. So guys, as you can see, like if you've watched the Facebook modules as well too, like it's all very similar. The only thing that is different is you need to basically figure out a way to make all of this content here in terms of what you're building out. You need to make sure that you are figuring out a way to communicate this in like 30 seconds to a minute max, okay? With ads on TikTok, you're going to want to split test a different variety of timelines as well too. That's probably the biggest thing that I could say in terms of split testing on TikTok. So good example. I love making comparisons to Facebook just because I really do feel like a lot of people, when they think of ads, they revert back to the Facebook and Instagram sort of model. So on Facebook and Instagram, you're testing maybe the first 5 seconds of the hook. You're testing your thumbnail. You're testing the way you're communicating your offer. Stuff like this, maybe the editing, things like that. On TikTok, the most important things that you should be testing are like your clip length, your clip ratio, basically. So how many clips do you have in your entire video? I recommend keeping your clips to no longer than like 3 seconds, right? If you have one clip of you just kind of like rambling on, it's not going to do good. It's not engaging enough for the TikTok platform specifically, just because people's, again, their attention span is so bad, it's so small. They're just gonna scroll up past your ad. Okay. So you need to basically build a way that creates an ad that is super engaging. if you think about it, think about like your favorite YouTube gurus, right? Your favorite YouTube creators. They're constantly making these videos, but they're such long form videos. But what's keeping you engaged? Is it the lower thirds or the edits that they're putting in there? Is it the zooming in and out of their face that's doing it? Is it the different clips? Like, you have to ask yourself this, right? So what I would say is create your clips in no longer than 3 seconds and split test that. Okay, so have a really high clip to video ratio. All right. That's what you're going to want to split test. And then you're going to want to split test communicating basically as much of this possible in your video, but having different videos that are 15 seconds long, 30 seconds long, and 60 seconds long. Okay. That's basically what you're split testing on TikTok. Okay. And you'll find that different niches will produce different results. Different ad accounts will produce different results. Like, we have clients that are all over the board. Some clients do really, really well with their longer timeline ads, longer length ads. Some of our clients, the moment we surpass 15 seconds, it's just like downhill from there. So you have to split test this. Okay. Now, important to note, you need to film 3 to 4 cold traffic ads and 2 to 3 retargeting ads every single month, typically for TikTok. Okay. Now, this is, again, because within the agency space, it's easier to create evergreen ads. Okay. So it's like Facebook in a sense, but what you will find is you will have to do this on a monthly basis. Like with Facebook, you can get away with it going longer than 2 months with having the same ads running, but you will start to notice your frequency starting to go up, your CPM starting to go up, and your click-through rate starting to take a little bit of a dip. It's starting to nosedive. But with TikTok, it's really important that you create new ads. Okay. Now, what I will say is, and without me rambling on, is if you've built these ads and you've maybe you've created 3 to 4 cold traffic campaigns, right? If you found maybe like one that did really, really well, if you keep running it, the performance is going to go down. But you need to change the creatives, but don't think just because you change the creatives that you can't use that winning ad anymore, right? Keep that winning ad on the back burner, make note of it, right? And then down the road, maybe 3-4 months down the road, you can just reintroduce that ad, right? Again, you don't want ad fatigue happens because you're just playing the same ad over and over and over. TikTok wants you to introduce new content. So every 2 to 3 months, you can reintroduce that winning piece of content that was doing well a few months prior, so that, again, you're not having to create new content if you've already found a handful of winners, right? You can just kind of cycle through them all. All right. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more context towards ad fatigue and that whole kind of myth around all that. Now, the easiest way to create more ads is to film all of your hooks, bodies, and call to action separately so you can mix and match each one. Again, very similar to Facebook, just keep things very efficient. When you're editing your ads, you want to use the meme bar to communicate the following: your target audience, the qualifications you've set, your offer, and your guarantee. Again, very similar to Facebook. The style is going to be the same. With your agency ad creatives, they are fairly similar to Facebook and TikTok, like the way that you're going to do certain mechanisms, but the fact of the matter is the main thing you're testing on TikTok is introducing more clips and speeding it up, right? So you may actually ask your video editor, or if you're editing your videos yourself, to basically speed up your ad by maybe 1.2x or 1.3x, right? Just to kind of make it fast and to the point, but not to the point where people don't understand what you're saying. Now, dynamic environments and of course the equipment that is needed. So where and how you should be filming: walking around the house, in front of a brick and mortar store. Don't be stationary for all your ads. Okay. So again, it's just very similar to Facebook, right? So you want to make sure that in the first 5 to 10 seconds of your ad, you're doing something. You're doing something that's interactive, something that it catches a person's eye. I used to do this a lot with even just my TikTok content, right? I was posting so much content of me sitting at my desk looking all pretty and trying to add value, subtitles, all this Alex Hormozy content, and it was getting 500 to 1,000 views. It wasn't doing very much. But once I started introducing content that was way more engaging and content that was, me doing something that was interactive, something where the background looked cool, I would hold people onto my video for much longer. And I would notice that in the analytics, when I would go watch the videos back and look at the data, it would show that my average watch length was actually improving. So make sure that your first 3 to 5 seconds, very, very engaging. Okay. So don't be seated at your desk, be doing something in front of your camera, walking around, something that's engaging, something that catches their eye. You'll even notice that in a lot of people who run really successful ads in the agency space or the coaching space, they do something with their hands and where they're holding their camera and then they do something in front of the camera to kind of catch that person's attention. Right. So Again, just an idea that you can basically implement. Now, the equipment that you need, again, a Rode mic, lapel mic, very, very good for like being mobile. And then in terms of like a stationary mic, you can use a Shure mic or a Blue Yeti mic. High quality DSLR, you can either use a Canon or what I use, Sony a7 III. These cameras are typically good for both photo and video content, which is really nice. One thing I will say, I don't want to touch on this for too long, but like, don't be the person that cheaps out on a DSLR camera because it's within your budget. Wait the extra month or two to just get the best camera, to just get the better camera. Because I've gone through like 2 or 3 different cameras that were lower quality, knowing that like the camera I really knew I needed was like the a7 III at the time, right? Don't cheap out. Wait a few months, save away some extra cash, go get the good camera, all right? So TikTok differences and similarities compared to Facebook differences. So you need to be almost over the top with your first 5 seconds. Like I mentioned, your first 3 to 5 seconds is really, really important. So use a current trend, grab their attention as best as possible with your hook, be doing something that makes the viewer stop scrolling. You have to get good at understanding TikTok's type of content. So very different to what works well on Facebook traditionally. People have a very low attention span on TikTok. So you need to come off a little bit exaggerated in getting their attention. Avoid mundane or monotone speech. Take your level of excitement up a few notches, okay? I've actually seen people like utilize sound effects to change how their voice sounds on TikTok. Like it's the weirdest thing. Like one guy really comes to mind. I believe he was a coach teaching people how to like grow like a Facebook community, stuff like that. But his voice was like so high pitched, and I was talking to my media buyer, and he was saying that like there's people that like will literally just like change the pitch of their voice just to kind of like make people think like, what the hell? Like they'll just stop on the ad just because like it's so interesting and so intriguing, like stuff like that, stuff that just seems a little bit different, right? So you can have fun playing around with these sort of sound effects or these sort of like edits on your video. Okay, so avoid mundane or monotone speech and take your level of excitement up a few notches. All right. Now, the similarities, you can use content with subtitles, you can use content with meme bars, and then the framework of your ads, it just doesn't change a whole lot, okay? The only thing, like I had mentioned, is obviously to fit all of this framework, the call to action, more testimonials, unique service system, confidence through testimonials, all this. To fit all this into a 15-second ad, it's not going to happen. So you need to remove certain aspects to it, and you need to figure out a way to like take all that information, condense into 50 seconds, or take all that information, condense into 30 seconds. Again, for a minute as well too, okay? So TikTok ad copy, right? So TikTok ad copy it's definitely not as important as Facebook. I do believe that TikTok right now is making changes to their ad copy section because I have noticed you can expand the ads now and you can have much more, many more characters than they used to allow before. I believe before it was like 250 characters. Now I think you can add up to like 2,000 characters. So I would highly recommend split testing short form copy to long form copy. What I have personally found to work on TikTok is mainly the short form copy, just because I don't believe a lot of people are actually clicking open the copy just with how fast paced of a platform TikTok is. Like people are just so encouraged to keep on swiping to even have them like open up the copy section. It typically never happens unless there's some sort of call to action for people to open up the copy, right? So just don't worry too much about it, all right? So very few people actually check the copy. However, it's still a piece of real estate that you need to leverage. So how to create effective ad copy on TikTok. Write out short yet sweet one-liners, okay? So base these one-liners on the results that your audience is aiming for. Poke fun at your competition. Relate to your audience. Communicate your offer and guarantee. The best way I can actually describe this is if you think of it as like the headlines in your Facebook ads. So when you're creating those headlines that are kind of like one-liners, they're short and sweet. They're just like it's just like the one-line, short and sweet one-liners, right? Like that's kind of what your TikTok ad copy kind of is, right? For your short form ad copy. For your long form ad copy, it's going to look a little bit different. So you can split test medium form, long form ad copy on TikTok. However, with most of their ads, you have a character limit, okay? So most people won't be open to the copy, but it's worth testing. Again, like I'm always open to split testing things, but I'm just going to always tell you guys what has personally worked for me. Anytime I've written any like medium form or long form copy on TikTok, it just doesn't really perform well, right? So one thing that you can go about doing is if you're trying to write something that is medium form or long form, make the first sentence or the first, technically your first paragraph, make it your one-liner. And then below that, when you click like shift in your copy, then you can have your long form below it, right? That way people are seeing the one-liner, and if they choose to click open the copy, then they see like the long form stuff. Okay. Right. But the first line of your copy needs to be something catchy. It needs to be intriguing. It needs to be like that good one-liner. All right. So action steps for today. Begin script writing your TikTok ads, film and edit your TikTok ads, and then write out your simple yet effective ad copy. Okay. One thing I highly recommend, the beauty of the times that we're in with AI, you can use ChatGPT to shorten the copy even more to build other variations of your copy. Okay. So, work smart, not hard, although you need to work hard before you can work smart, but utilize ChatGPT or, Jasper AI, all these different AI platforms that can help you kind of create some new ideas around your ad copy, around your scripts, things like that. Okay. I know that even for myself, when I'm creating different scripts for myself, for my ads and for my content, I utilize ChatGPT to kind of help me out in terms of, giving me different ideas of ways to communicate things to my audience. Okay. So, I highly encourage you to leverage AI. Okay. So hopefully this module helps you guys out building your ad creatives and your ad copy for TikTok specifically. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the Discord. Happy to help you guys out. I know that my team is happy to help you as well too. I can definitely be your guy to be able to give you some more guidance on this, just because this is basically my main role at the agency. My main role now is just to basically film new content for ads and for our social media, things like that. So, if you guys need absolutely any help in terms of like the copy or the ad creation process, filming, editing, whatever it is, drop your questions in the Discord and I'm happy to help you guys out. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day and we'll see you guys in the next module.